Hello and good morning. Let me turn my other camera on. Today is August 5th, and it will be an abbreviated discussion this morning. I will be leaving soon after the end to go to a family reunion. And I'm turning on Facebook now. And a couple things I did want to share with you today uh, before I leave. First, I want to thank all the folks that have visited davidfleopold.com this week, our first week that we launched. And I particularly thank those who have come back with comments because it has indeed impacted my thinking as I have created a new section in the site this week, and I think things are going wonderfully well. And I want to thank everybody for their support. Uh, Also, in the last, actually, probably now it's 36 hours, Fiona, the famous hippo from the Cincinnati Zoo and Botanical Gardens, is now a sister. The interesting thing is they still do not know if she has a brother or a sister. It is pretty strange how those things go. Fiona has not met uh, her new sibling yet. Uh, and actually, the new hippo is, and I'm not even sure what the new hippo's name is. If last time I heard, I don't think they had given her a name, given it a name, given him a name. Uh, the new hippo is bonding with Mother BB, and so now all the limelight is on Fiona. Uh, I I saw Fiona. Well, as soon as you could see her, she was born prematurely a couple years ago, weighing only about 30 pounds. Her new sibling weighed over 60 pounds. And Fiona was raised by humans at the Cincinnati Zoo, I think for almost a year. They were feeding her and raising her, and she is now the typical size of a hippo. I think she's approaching 1,000 pounds. I'm not exactly sure what the number is, but congratulations to BB and her new baby, BB baby. Also, too, I wanted to share some great news in terms of some conversations, a conversation I'm going to have with David Amerlin. David is one of the most prolific authors in the neuroscience marketing and sales world, or just neuroscience world. Uh, David and I have been interacting and having and doing videos for several years, and very, very enjoyable. I'd like to say that David is the smartest person that I have ever met in my lifetime, and I am going to finally get to award him David the superhero. Actually, this book was given to me by a friend, and I asked if it was okay if I gave it to David, the superhero that I communicate with. And so that's going to happen. But David wrote the book Intentional, and I have gotten into this book more so than any of the other 6 or 7 or 8 books that we have discussed. Uh, this book explains my mind and how I think and why I think. And David and I have actually talked about the book before. You can go to uh, intentional dot solutions dot expert, intentional dot expert. It's a digital library that I created a couple years ago. We haven't done too much. I haven't done too much with it in the last year. I'm going to start getting it going again. But I actually had a probably an hour conversation with David about intentional, so you can listen to it if you'd like at intentional dot expert. So I'm looking forward to. We don't have a date yet. David is, first of all, he resides in Greece, and he does travel all over the world to share his brilliant mind with folks, companies. Just he's just the authority and author in the message that he brings to all of us. I'm looking forward to this conversation, and what we're going to. David actually has done something with me that he had never done before. He suggested what what the conversation might be, and I said, "Fine, you're my mentor. Uh, whatever conversation you think is best, I'm there." So I actually have an assignment because David and I are going to talk about where business, small business, big business, is right now due to the pandemic and how it dramatically changed all of our lives. There is absolutely no question that there's a new business model in play. Uh, well, there's probably a lot of new business models in play. A different one, a different business model than before the pandemic. That's how dramatically it has changed everything. Actually, I just read half hour ago that hiring in the United States exceeded 528,000 jobs in July. And that was way more than folks had anticipated. And so that's a good sign. But David and I are going to talk about the business transformation and the impact that the pandemic has had and what is going to be happening next. So I'm looking forward to that discussion, and I will learn probably on Monday when it's actually going to be. I was going to. Well, let me do a quick one here. One thing I've always wanted to share, and I've talked about it, and I have never done it, is stuff that I get, emails that I get every day, and I probably get pretty close to 100, and these are business emails, close to 100 or more business emails. Most of them are marketing and sales. That's what my interest is. That's what I want to read about. And there's a whole nother area, and I've actually talked about some of it. There's the baby boomer health and wellness um, aspect of things that I spent a lot of time developing and working for myself, and then sharing uh, the ideas with other baby boomers, hoping that they might see some value and some benefit in the things that I am doing and how it has worked for me. And there's three sources that um, three main sources where I get my information. Uh, WebMD, they have a fantastic section on, uh, I guess they call it senior health. Every day I get 1 to 2 emails on that topic alone. AARP, uh, you've heard me say many, many times that AARP is the authority on uh, anything anything affecting folks over 50 years old. You can become a member of AARP for, I think, a yearly membership is now 14. I think I just saw an ad that they have a special going on that it's $14 for the first year. It's an amazing organization. They are the authorities on the topics that they share, be it of a legislative nature, be it of a health and wellness nature. And the third source that I found extremely valuable is from the National Institute of Health, and they have an everyday happening with seniors and senior exercise. As a matter of fact, this is a book that I shared from them, Get Fit for Life. I shared it a couple weeks ago, probably a month ago, and exercise and physical activity for healthy aging, Get Fit for Life. I highly recommend it. Highly recommend it to read it. See how you personally relate to the things that you are reading, and if you have any questions that you'd like, please share your questions with me, and we will get an answer for you. To the next 3 people who fill out the form at the bottom of the lower half of the fold, the contact form, they come directly to me. For the first 3 people that mention they would like me to send them a complimentary copy of the book, I will do that, and I will even pay for postage and handling. 3 people, highly recommended. So let me take a quick, I'm going to go to my inbox and just quickly, extemporaneously look at emails that have come from these 3 folks, most recent ones. WebMD, How to Spot Pancreatic Cancer. They have been, I should say, with WebMD, they have been spending a lot of time talking about cancer in the last 2 weeks. And I'm obviously very interested in what they have to say about prostate cancer, of which I've had for at least 10 years. And happy to report that 2 months ago, I get checked every 3 months. I get my blood checked and then sit down and have a discussion with my oncologist, radiologist, Dr. William Barrett. As a matter of fact, I have an appointment with Dr. Barrett in 3 weeks, 2 weeks, and he's already agreed to have a conversation with me and Debbie, his right hand. For she's been she told me she's been a nurse for 40 years. I don't know how many of those years have been with Dr. Barrett, but I am so very blessed to have Dr. Barrett as my doctor, and Debbie as my nurse. She has given me so much information about things. Well, we changed my therapy. I've been on hormone therapy for 5 years, and we changed it 3 months ago, almost 3 months ago. And we will talk about those changes in 2 weeks. I will get some blood work done today, and I'll know today exactly what my PSA is, prostate specific antigen. And I'm very, very happy to say that the last time my PSA was checked, a little over 2 months ago, I had the least amount of cancer in my body that I've had for 10 years. And so that's a good thing. That's a great thing. It's going in the right direction. So I'm real curious to see how this change that we made has it even impacted further what is done. So that was AARP. Their email today was the daily 4 foods to avoid buying in bulk and 10 of the best. Let's see what those 4 foods are to buy in bulk. Consumers can pay considerably less for food when they buy in bulk, or several bulk food. Okay, tips on. Okay. I want to talk about beat inflation by buying in bulk. Questions to ask: is this really for me? Best foods to buy in bulk: baking ingredients, bread. The only bread I buy is gluten-free bread, and I found some very, very good ones. Canned fruit and veggies, canned salmon, tuna, and sardines. I just bought a can of salmon. I've never bought a can of salmon before. I just bought one a week or two ago, and I will be trying out next week for sure. Tuna I have on hand all the time. I haven't eaten a sardine in a long time. Another best food to buy in bulk: dried beans and freeze-dried coffee. I freeze dry coffee. I got a strange way of dealing with coffee, so I'm not really sure what this is. Freeze dried coffee. Does it taste better than unfreeze dried? I cannot answer that question. Dried beans. I don't use dried beans, but every single week I make up I slow cook a can of it's called tri beans. There's 3 different beans in it, and then mix it with some cheese and some onions, and I do it differently every week. And I gotta say, this week's edition was my best. Absolutely, I don't know what I have to think about what I did differently, but it was absolutely the best. Frozen fruits and veggies. They're the most freezer-friendly foods for bulk buying. One of the buyers said frozen fruits and veggies. I don't have great luck with frozen fruits. I had a lot of fruits and vegetables. Calorie-wise, volume-wise, they probably make up close to 65% of my diet. close to it. Grains, I don't pay attention to that because, well, whatever I do I do non-gluten, and so rice and quinoa. I do consume a lot of grain. Nuts, I consume a lot of nuts. Buy them in the shell to get the longest shelf life. Pasta, nothing beats bulk items like spaghetti and macaroni, which have super long shelf life. And peanut butter. I buy peanut butter in bulk and I eat it in bulk. I consume a lot of peanut butter, probably a tad too much, but I stay within my guidelines I have established for myself. Worst containers to buy in bulk: big containers of junk food, even not only in bulk and whatever. Oh my goodness, cheese. If it doesn't freeze well, um, I don't know how well cheese really freezes. I consume a lot of cheese, and it doesn't spoil. There's a lot of cheese in there. It doesn't spoil, so I'm okay. So I'm not so sure that I would jump on. Well, I wouldn't buy frozen cheese frozen, fresh or frozen fish. It has been a very high water content, and freezing it for too long can result in flavor loss. And then olive oil, which I consume a lot of, it has a limited shelf life. Worse foods to buy in bulk because of they lose it after a while, so there's no real reason to buy in bulk. And living alone, buying for one, there are a lot of challenges, and my buying habits for food are they are all over the place. But it's a system that has worked for me for over 10 years now. And I don't think I saw one for National Institute of Health, but let me see. And that's okay. We talked about them. First three people that fill out a form at the bottom of the fold, just under the fold, will, if they supply their address, I will send them this book, Get Fit for Life, National Institute of Health, Exercise and Physical Activity for Healthy Aging. And I will even pay shipping and handling, which is out of control right now in the general world. Very well. It's one thing to be able to sell the merchandise. It's another thing to be able to deliver the merchandise. I have found some very interesting collaborative partnerships. We've been talking about collaborative partnerships yesterday. I 2 days ago, I even bought. I am a Kroger frequent flyer, and they have formed collaborative partnerships with, well, in this case, it was Bed Bath and Beyond. I needed a blender, desperately needed a blender, and I bought it through my Kroger process, and it's FedEx is going to deliver it actually on Saturday. I hope somebody doesn't take it off my front porch or inside the door, because I won't be here Saturday to pick it up. But it's many things happening, and the distribution. I mean, it doesn't mean anything unless you can deliver the goods. Nothing else matters. You have to deliver it, and then the value that the individual gets, the consumer gets from that particular item, that's when it starts to happen, but it can't happen until it's in their hands. So I guess that's, one last thing. I'm off to a family reunion. My mother's side of the family, the Barnett side of our family. And my cousin Steve has a bunch of acres out in the middle of Meigs County, actually in the town of Albany, a little village of Albany, not too far from Athens. And I'm hopping on a bus in a couple hours and going to spend the weekend with the Barnett side of my family. Steve has had this for when I was growing up. When I was growing up, it was a big, big event every summer. Typically, we would go to Pittsburgh and the surrounding area where we had a lot of relatives. We would go there. Occasionally, they came to our territory in Canton, Ohio. But Steve has been doing this on his farm. I'm going to guess it has to be at least 10 years, maybe longer. We haven't done it the last 2 years because of the pandemic. And so I'm really looking forward to being able to see those members of the family. And I typically, when I have gone to these things, Steve has a bedroom in a house that he's been building literally for 20 years. And that's where I've stayed for the reunion. But one of his children or grandchildren, I know somebody else has that bedroom. So I jokingly said to Steve, well, are you going to pitch a tent? And his response came back, there will be a tent. So I'm going to be staying in a tent this weekend. And I haven't done that for a million years. No, it hasn't been quite a million years. It's been a lot of years. So thank you for sharing some time with me today. Please enjoy the videos that two of them I actually produced this week. The third one 2 weeks ago, so they're all very, very current. And have been a very enjoyable weekend. And remember, there's some thunder and probably some lightning. Do what you love and love what you do. We'll see you soon.
trader has Kelly Blue Book, so I know the prices are good. That's not a good price. Right away. What's everything? Hold on, that for it. Ain't nothing wrong with that. In projects, senior project managers, you need to hire. Indeed, you do. When you sponsor a job, you immediately get your short list of quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job criteria. Visit Indeed.com/hire and get started today. Attention Marines and personnel of any branch of the armed forces and their families stationed at Camp Lejeune and contractors who worked at Camp Lejeune. Were you present at Camp Lejeune for 30 days or longer between August 1953 and December of 1987? For nearly 34 years, those on Marine Corps Base Camp Lejeune were exposed to contaminated drinking water, resulting in devastating injuries. The passage of the Camp Lejeune Justice Act of 2022 would allow victims to file lawsuits seeking compensation for illnesses and injuries linked to the toxic water. American Home Shield is a home service plan provider that helps cover costs for parts of your home systems and appliances wear out. It can help relieve stress and anxiety of unexpected risks. For a free quote, visit AAS.com. Gentlemen, please extend the phone support option. It has cooling gives me separation. It keeps me breathed. Stay cool, stay simple. It's Macy's Monday sale with great deals of the day. Like kitchen essentials starting at $14.99. Comforters starting at $24.99. And 60% off coverage from Samsonite and Apple Products. Plus Macy's Holiday Bonus Days are going on now. You assume wrong. What is it? Teacher, I didn't want to stand it. At this point, well, I will fight around by myself. Thank you very much. But sir, the heat is not so that's okay. That's perfect. Means I take my sweet ass. Mr. O'Brien, do you think you should reconsider? In playing these conditions, you didn't say. I tell you what I ain't say, but you and all this thing together about Mr. Roper trying to laugh this down. Mr. Dresden, I'm Stephen Garrett from the task force. I need to ask you a question for the temperature sickness. Mr. Dresden, can you hear me? The doctor's able to sedate him because of the pain. He's pretty active. Mrs. Dresden, can you tell us what happened to your husband? Our tenant, Tracy, went crazy and acted. And I'm going to question. What? Is she saying something different? Well, she's lying. They never needed to tell about she anyway. They were to keep that. We didn't need your help. Mr. Dresden, so can you tell us what the cause was best to attack your husband? Why she did it? All I know, I was getting ready for work and I heard shouting downstairs. Tracy was upset about our air conditioning in her apartment. I rushed downstairs to find her standing over my husband, punching and kicking him, and when I screamed for help, she left. Okay, I'm sorry. You're saying she did this to your husband because of something to do with their air conditioning? We've had service people in and out all week. Of course, the tenant's playing super when their AC breaks down, but it's not his fault. The units are just old. Still seems a bit extreme. It's the heat. It makes people do crazy things. Have you ever had problems with this place in the past? Not at all. Tracy's quiet. She keeps herself. She pays her on time. She's a good tenant. You know where she lives? I don't think she has a job. She lists on her rental application. She has no job. She pays her rent. She said she was in a car accident a couple Smith's finances. First off, there's no record of any insurance settlement. So she lied about how she made a private house. She looked for credit cards and bank accounts were closed 3 years ago. Because that's what she does. So we crazy back to that in 2015. The death claim was issued in New Mexico. So Isaiah is using legitimate person's activity. She's so desperate to get away with the cops. We know that she's trying to allocate on the assumed name and whatever it is she's wanted for is bad enough shame on and calculate to the list. Thank you, Jerry. And stay cool today. It's gonna stay hydrated. Stay hydrated, Jerry. I know her about me. We're gonna killer smoothie recipe. They got nutrition stuff right on the phone. Not the fire, no vitamins. That's good to see everyone takes it seriously. That's you. Oh, crap. Whatever. Nothing, I'm good. Bye, Jerry. That's exactly the point. Because we have that, was not physically, mentally. She got him. And don't get to drive in my car either. Yeah, she was okay. You're here. Yeah, it's just a matter of time, wasn't it? I mean, we lived together, and then still works together. And we did work on 100%. That's what I choose. Yeah, you just know me. Yeah, sure did. Give me a best impression. Come on. Give me a best impression. What's your name? I'm Junior. Yes. So you okay. Hey, Kyle, are you on any medication? Cholesterol meds. Something for my anxiety. Simple. Don't make that love thing. Okay? Kyle, did you know that some anxiety medication increase heat sensitivity? Are you specific?